posachedwa apa tikupasirani kalata imene chipani cha DPP chalembera boma makamaka pa zimene zikuchitika mdziko muno, ndipo iwo akhulupirira kuti pamene tikupita ku masankho akufunisisa kalata imeneyi ipeze boma komanso ipite ku chipani cha MCP. Ndipo lero chipani cha DPP chachitisa press conference mu mzinda wa Lilongwe ku Golden Ndipo. Tamvani kalatayi pamene apita mukito amenenso ali general secretary wa chipani cha DPP awerenga kalata Yopita ku chipani cha MCP komanso boma.
To hear from them as to what they have brought us here for in terms of issues of national importance. Tikutero ndithu kuti posachedwa pamene msonkhano amene ukhale ukuyamba kuno ku Golden Peacock Hotel kuno ku Lilongwe. Mene nafotokozera mlembi wamkulu wa chipani chimene chapita mukito komanso mtsogoleri wa zipani zotsutsa amene ndi Dr. George Chaponda ndiye akuluakulu a chipani chimene afika kuno kuti alankhule kwa atolankhani amene afika kuchokera mnyumba zosiyanasiyana zosindikiza komanso kuulutsa mawu. Msonkhano umene wa DPP kudzanso padadutsa ndithu kanthawi asadalankhulepo, angakhalebe pakati apo anali ku chigawo chakumpoto chititsa msonkhano amene kunali mu mzinda wa Mzuzu, komano kuchoka pa nthawi imeneyo sadalankhulepo china chake chachikulu chokera ku chipani chimene chinderero ndio amene tifuna noti imvero kodi atitengera zotani tsiku la lero. Nde tapatse Shadrack Namalomba yemwe ndi mneneri wa chipani chimenechi kuti atenge bwaloli kuti apitirize zoyendetsa zonse zomwe zochitika kuno.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Takulandirani masana ano. Cholinga chathu nkumano uno wamadzulo wa masana ano ndikwakuti chipani cha DPP chakonza mwambo unoti yankhulenda Malawi awafotokozere zimene Amalawi akumana nazo chifukwa cha boma la Malawi Congress Party. The theme of this press briefing is unmasking corruption, impunity and electoral fraud. This afternoon, the host of this press briefing is Honorable Peter Mukito, the Secretary General of the Mighty Democratic Progressive Party. And accompanied him, we have senior members of the party. I will start with the Leader of Opposition, Honorable Dr. George Chaponda, Tapatura MP. And we also have the National Director of Women in the Democratic Progressive Party, Honorable Mary Navicha Tom. And we also have the National Director of Youth in the Democratic Progressive Party, Honorable Norman Chisale. May you stand so that people can see you. We also have the National Director on Political Affairs, Honorable Dr. Ben Piri. May you also stand. We also do have Honorable Mchacha, the Director responsible for operations in the party. And we have Honorable Ginny Matanga, the Presidential Advisor on election matters. Stand. And the one holding the floor, I'm Shadrack Namalomba, the National Publicity Secretary, and I will be moderating this press conference. My apologies, I left out a very special honorable member, Honorable Gladys Ganda, who is also a presidential advisor in the party. My apologies, Honorable. This far, as I said, this press conference taitanitsa kuti tiyankhulenda Malawi chifukwa cha mavuto amene Malawi ife tikumana nawo. Mavuto akatangale, kuphwanya malamulo, komanso ndi kufuna kubera zisankho. Ndiye kuyambirira a Secretary General ati ayankhula ku mtundu wa Malawi. Tikamaliza pamenepo akatha a Secretary General ndiye kuzabwerano mamembala athu akuluakulu atsogolerali ukukuwa adzakhalanso akuyankhula. Kumapeto kwake tizakhala ndi plenary imene inuyo atolankhani mudzakhala mukufunsa mafunso kuwafunsira amalawi kuti amvetsetse bwinobwino ngati pena pake panatsalira kuti no amalawi amve. Kumapetopeto tidzatseka msonkhano wathu. Ndiye tapanga ma introductions, sindifunsanso kuti tipange ma introductions ndino a media. Tikudziwa kuti muno muli a Zodiac, muli a Times, komanso muli a nyumba zosiyanasiyana, tinene kuti takulandirani. Komanso ndikulandireni mahonorable nonse amene mwapanga support msonkhano umene kuchoka ku Chipani. Tili ndi honorable Dr. Mwale, honorable Tembo, honorable Nomale, honorable Jeannie Mandeula. We have honorable I'll skip you. I will skip you. Tia, honorable Tia there. I've forgotten the surnames, so you forgive me. So all the honorables that have come here, you are most invited. Without much ado, let me invite Honorable Ben Piri to say a word of prayer. Akatipemphera Honorable Ben Piri, then I will pass on the mic to the Secretary General, Honorable Peter Mukito, kuti ayankhule ku mtundu wa Malawi. Honorable Ben Piri, you have the floor. Thank you.
Tipemphere ambuye zikomo chifukwa cha masana abwino komanso mkumano umene uli pano nthawi inoyo munaudziwa komanso kuti munaikiza zonse zofuna kuyankhulidwa pano. Malawi akumvetsera ndipo akudikira mawu achiyembekezo, chotero ndikupemphera kuti mukatipatsa kuthekera kokuti tikalankhule ndi Malawi amene wasowa chiyembekezo pa nthawi ino. Kakhaleni Mulungu poyamba komanso pomaliza kuti msonkhano uno ukathe kuthandizira wina wake amene anatayiratu chikhulupiriro kuti chiyembekezo cha utsogololo koma chilipo. Mu dzina la Yesu tapemphera, amen.
DPP oye. DPP oye. Kuti anthu azindikire kuti msonkhano uno ndi wa Chipani. Msonkhano ndi wa Chipani cha Democratic Progressive Party. Nthawi ino mundilole kuti ndi apempheno olemekezeka Secretary General wathu kuti ayankhule ku mtundu wa Malawi. Bwana ndi nthawi yanu, zikomo kwambiri.
Good afternoon, all Malawians, where you are, whether in the country or in diaspora. Good afternoon, members of the press. Good afternoon, my elders, my seniors here, ladies and gentlemen. I will start by reading a statement, and after my reading, it will be interpreted by Honorable Namalomba, and thereafter, as already stated, the other members of the panel will definitely come in to chip in whatever information they would want to. So the reading goes as follows. This is a press statement, a call for immediate action against corruption, impunity, and electoral fraud in Malawi. The Democratic Progressive Party issuing this urgent appeal to the highest officers and the leadership in Malawi, addressing the rampant corruption, theft, and gross mismanagement of public resources and resources that continue to plague our country. At a time when Malawians are being facing unprecedented economic and food crisis, the misuse of state power and public is deepening the suffering of ordinary citizens. These and the institutions, the clerk of parliament, the chief justice, the president of the Malawi Law Society, the chairperson Public Affairs Committee, the dean of the Democratic Corps in Malawi, the resident coordinator, UN Systems in Malawi, Lilongwe, and the copies have been sent to additional key institutions, including the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Malawi Police Service, and the international partners. matters of serious concern. The Malawi Congress Party government has been in power since 2020, with promises to bring about positive change and development to the people of Malawi. However, these 4 years have been characterized by a troubled pattern of impunity and electoral fraud by the Malawi Congress Party government, causing major concerns among the citizens. Malawi is on the verge of collapse due to the unchecked looting of public funds, mismanagement, and institutionalized corruption under the current government. We appeal to all institutions and stakeholders to take immediate action to halt this national decay before Malawi becomes a failed state. Point number 1, food insecurity and the messed up affordable input fertilizer. Recent reports indicate that 3 out of 4 people do not have food to eat until the harvesting season. Recent reports indicate that hunger has already claimed the lives of 11 children and 8 adults in districts like Mwanza, Blantyre, Mulanje, Machinga, and Nsanje. This tragedy has been met with silence and indifference from the leadership, who instead are embroiled in attempts to defraud Malawians of billions of kwachas. In addition, the Affordable Input Program, AIP, meant to assist small-scale farmers, has been mismanaged, causing a severe food crisis in the country. Millions of Malawians are facing hunger due to the delayed distribution of fertilizer and seeds, which has also resulted in poor harvests. This failure to avail food to Malawians is in need, and the mismanagement of AIP are clear indications of the incompetence of the Malawi Congress Party to fulfill its mandate of catering for the needs of the people. Number 2, failure to uphold promises of governance and rule of law. President Lazarus Chakwera and his Congress Party government made clear promises to uphold the rule of law and clear the rubble of corruption. Yet in the past 4 years, corruption has been institutionalized from the highest offices of the state to local administrative levels. The rampant theft of state resources continue unchecked while the economy spirals into free fall. The following are some of the many cases exemplifying the scale of gravity of corruption that is devastating our country, Malawi. Number 1, Nokima and the Office of the President and Cabinet, OPC. The allegations point to the Secretary to the President and Cabinet, SPC, colluding in illegal contracts, including a 1.5 trillion fuel deal, which raises suspicions of kickbacks and corruption. Number 2, the GET fuel deal. The Minister of Transport is implicated in the illegal manipulation of procurement processes for personal gain. Number 3, awarding of 600,000 metric tons of fertilizer without tender. A suspicious 1 trillion fertilizer contract awarded without proper procedures to a dubious foreign entity demands immediate investigations. Number 4, the Bridging Foundation deal of 2022. A fraudulent US $6.8 billion agreement that resulted in no tangible benefits for Malawians. Number 5, Bakat Foods Limited scandal 2022. A US $1 billion scam for fertilizer procurement that never materialized, causing massive financial losses. Number 6, East Bridge Estates fraud 2023. A US $250 million fraudulent deal involving sovereign guarantees, which was defended by top officials despite the clear corruption signals. Then number 7, we also have the Nendongo Commercial Group fertilizer scam in 2023. A US $170 million scandal involving a fisheries company awarded a fertilizer contract despite having no expertise in agriculture. Number 8, Maga Bangura Railway Project 2022, an inflated contract from 48 billion to 68 billion, with only 4 kilometers of railway constructed and 10 billion paid upfront. Number 9, construction of security houses 2021, a project valued in trillions of kwacha with only a fraction of the promised houses delivered. These are many other instances of theft, abuse of office, and illegal procurement practices that fall under the Corrupt Practices Act and the Penal Code. We demand that the promises of transparency, accountability, and good governance be honored as enshrined in Section 12 of the Malawi Constitution, which states that state authority must be exercised to serve and protect the interests of the people. The officials involved must be held accountable under the law. Point number 3, the economic crisis and the path to a failed state. The country is now at risk of defaulting on international payments, according to the Reserve Bank of Malawi. This fiscal crisis stems from reckless borrowing, including $2 million spent on the president's internal travels within just the recent 2 months. The national public debt stands in excess of 15 trillion, up from 4 trillion in 2020 when the DPP left the government. Meanwhile, Malawians suffer from rising poverty, and unsustainable debt, and a collapsing economy. Basic goods such as sugar, cooking oil, and cement have become unaffordable for the majority, and the businesses are closing down daily. Number 4, the national registration hitches. The Malawi Electoral Commission intends to roll out registration of Malawians to vote in the 2025 general elections using the national identity card as the sole form of identification. The MCP government is systematically and without shame committing electoral fraud. There exist so many Malawians that the National Registration Bureau has failed to register effectively, disenfranchising the voters and failing to uphold the constitutional right to vote. The National Registration Bureau has been embroiled in a mess with reports of biased registration processes and the registration of minors and foreigners. This not only undermines the integrity of the electoral process, but also poses a threat to national security. Number 5, impunity, violence, and political arrests by the Malawi Congress Party government. The MCP government has also shown a blatant disregard for the rule of law, using impunity and violence to suppress opposition parties and silence dissenting views. There have been numerous incidences of violence against members of the Democratic Progressive Party, with little to no consequences for the perpetrators. The case of Mbowe hacking and beating of our supporters and many more examples are there for everyone to see. This displays a worrying lack of accountability and respect for the rights of all citizens and the rule of law. Moreover, the government's use of selective justice and political arrests to silence the opposition and the critics is a clear violation of human rights and democratic principles. As we speak now, senior members of our party have been targeted for arrest to silence them as we approach the general elections in 2025. This has created a climate of fear and intimidation, hindering freedom of expression and the people's right to hold their leaders accountable. DPP's call for action. Drawing on the Democratic Progressive Party's experience in government, we demand the following urgent steps to address the abuse of public resources. Number 1, immediate suspension and firing of officials. President Lazarus Chakwera must suspend Secretary to the President and Cabinet Ms. Colleen Zamba. Minister of Transport Honorable Haram and Minister of Agriculture Honorable Samuel Kawale to allow for independent investigations into their involvement in questionable of their procurement deals. And it happened to our dear brother Honorable on my left hand. In fact, Malawi Congress Party was up front agitating for the resignation of Honorable Tapatua Japonda. Why are they not doing it now? Parliamentary investigations. Parliament should immediately launch an independent investigation into the awarding of large contracts, ensuring open interrogation of all individuals involved, including foreign suppliers and financial institutions. 3. Disclosure of restricted tender contracts. The government must disclose all contracts awarded through restricted tenders, particularly for road construction, fertilizers, and fuel, while hiring independent auditor to verify the legitimacy of these contracts, because we believe most of them are fake. Number 4, investigations by SCB and Financial Intelligence Unit. The Anti-Corruption Bureau and Financial Intelligence Unit must investigate potential corruption, tracking funds to identify the beneficiaries of these deals. Number 5, economic recovery and food shortages. The government should present a clear plan for economic recovery, addressing food shortages and reducing wasteful borrowing and travel by our president. Number 6, we demand the government to stop selective justice and arrests. Malawi Congress Party should with immediate effect stop intimidations, threats, and arrests and selective justice against members of the opposition and general citizenry. The police should desist from being used by the politicians who Malawians have resolved to boot them out of the government next year in 2025. Number 7, we ask the government to register all eligible voters through the NRB. Government should, through the National Registration Bureau and the Malawi Electoral Commission, ensure no individual eligible to vote has been left out of the registration process. We also urge our diplomatic partners, including the United Nations, United Kingdom, Germany, Norway, and the European Union, to actively pressure the government to restore accountability. DPP remains committed to restoring good governance in Malawi and reaffirms its readiness to provide technical and strategic support to help the country overcome this crisis. We are prepared to work in the national interest to stabilize the economy and rebuild public trust. Malawians cannot continue to suffer while a few benefit from the plunder of state resources. We demand an immediate end to destructive practices and a return to the principles of good governance, transparency, and the rule of law. There ends my reading. Thank you so much.
Zikomo kwambiri. Zikomo kwambiri pana Secretary General chifukwa chakutiwerengera uthenga umene wachokera ku Chipani mu Chizungu. Mundilole kuti ndingo yankhulakonso pang'ono mu Chichewa uthenga omwewu. Uthenga umene ukupita kwa Malawi masana ano ndi uthenga odandaula komanso ndi uthenga opempha.
Ndipo General Secretary apita mkhitu a Chipani cha DPP awerenga kalata yopita kuboma komanso kalata imene ikukhuza Chipani cha MCP makamaka pamene DPP ikukhulupirira kuti zinthu zina ikuchitisa ndi Chipani cha MCP nde akufuna ndithu atasintha zinthu zingapo zimene awerenga mkalatamu. Takhalani pompo kuti mumverebe ma speech